Ozonics Killerwinds podcast back again. We got the nuke. We got me.
Yep.
Let's do this.
Let's roll, boys.
You know what's funny is I don't know why, but this last week I had a real hankering for some dirt track racing. I'm getting the itch a little bit. That's just not good because it's only November.
Yeah.
I've got the rest of November, December, January, February, March, April. You can't count on dirt track races in Iowa until Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And is that in May?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, crap. I got 7 months.
I think last year there was like a frost buster, like late April. I think
man.
somewhere. I can't remember where.
So I've had to resort. I'm YouTubing it a lot right now. I'm doing a lot of flow racing.
There you go.
I'm doing a lot of Knoxville Nationals. I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes, little sprint car action, little Luxo late model. I've been trying to catch up. There's actually a lot of racing still going on. A lot of non-wing sprints going on right now. Some midgets going on.
Yeah.
A lot of NASCAR guys. Season's over, so a lot of NASCAR guys. Kyle Larson, a lot of those guys are getting after it pretty hard right now.
Yeah.
So I've been catching up on some of that.
Yeah.
But it's I'm getting a little of the itch. So I'm going to keep calling you the nuke.
Okay.
Because that's your dirt track name. So it's the only way we're going to get any dirt track. Even when I come into work, sometimes I go to Starbucks, and that's right by North Iowa Fairgrounds, right by Mason City Speedway. It's just
there, man.
It's hard. I drive by, and it makes me a little sad.
Yeah.
It's a rough time of year in that regard, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's just redneck needs a little dirt track racing.
Yeah.
All right, so now we got that out of the way. What are we talking about?
Man, it kind of feels like we're talking about a lot of stuff today.
Jeez,
Really?
yeah. Jeez. Talking about a lot of stuff. So we are into November in the teens.
Deep into November in the teens.
Yes, and I keep saying this a lot. We've talked about this before. I like November in the teens.
Mm-hmm.
We are smack dab in the middle of it. We've been in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot going on. There's been a lot going on for us in like the hunting rut report that it's starting to all kind of blur together.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's getting to be that time of year.
It really is starting to blur, but.
And it's funny because we were talking about this in the truck yesterday. We are still soaking in the sunshine of Nick killing his buck.
Mm-hmm. We're
still in the, when you shoot a deer or something awesome happens, you go, oh man, it was a week ago today.
Mm-hmm.
We did that. I did that on Saturday afternoon, and I did that on Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, hey, by this time we were already out here finding him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still pretty fresh in the old mind. Still think about that a lot. Still pretty excited about how that all worked out.
Yeah, no doubt.
And we actually did some work with that. Work on your deer this week.
Yeah.
Yep. So you took that deer to a place where we take deer for the Hush program called Deerfield Meat Locker.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're at North Central Iowa, like Clear Lake Mason City area. You go towards Charles City.
Yeah.
And it's like north of Charles City, northeast of like Floyd.
Yeah.
And it's out in the country, and it's a place called Deerfield. And they do the Hush program. They got a really cool setup how you can like back in, and
that's super nice.
It's really nice. Got a walk-in cooler.
Yeah. And
so you had them cape it so you could get it mounted. So then we spent some time this weekend and caped out the head.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see kind of that for the first time and go through that. It was kind of fun.
Yeah. And
then we skull plated it and then boraxed that real nice and got that all good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really fun. It was cool to, really get to hold them again and really look at them. And it was fun too. After we got done, we kind of went around my house with some other bucks I've shot, and it's just fun to just compare them and just like see like the age difference and stuff. And so it was a lot of fun. It was cool. Yeah,
I really we were talking about that. I really like to skull cap things if I can. I mean, unless you're going to do like a Euro, but if you're going to mount them, I try to like get them skull capped and boraxed and dried out as quick as I can, because then you can play with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to take them in the house and not have your wife or girlfriend get mad because you got a smelly deer head in your house.
Yeah.
It dries them right out. And again, we fleshed it out, skull capped it, boraxed it, let it sit for a day, and then, brushed it off and looked at it, and it already was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty
boraxed
dry
it again, and you fleshed it out a little bit more, and then you boraxed it again. But really, after that, it's just going to be really, really good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when you go home this weekend and you're showing Zippy, Walt,
Yeah.
Benny gets to see it again.
Yeah.
Charlie gets to see it again.
Brother-in-law Mo. I'm gonna
Willie
bring it
gets to
him.
see it. Mo.
Yeah.
All these guys are going to be all excited. They're going to say, hey, look at that.
Yeah. No.
Man, you got that thing all cleaned up.
No. Yeah. It worked out really, really good. I was a little bit worried just because when I dropped the deer off, there was a ton of deer in there.
Yeah.
A ton. And I'm like, I don't know if I'll get it before Thanksgiving, but maybe I'll get lucky, and had it within like 3 days.
Yeah, they called and say, hey, we got it ready for you.
Yeah. So it's going to be fun to bring it and show it to buddies and family back home. I'm really, really excited to do that. My dad just keeps saying, like yesterday, he just texted me. He's like, I got to see that thing. I got to see that thing.
Yeah.
It's cool. It'll be fun.
I was interested to see how they did that when they said caped it. Because
Mm-hmm.
they're like, oh, well, we can cape it for you. And I was wondering how they were going to give it to you back.
Mm-hmm.
And when they say caped it, I mean, they caped the whole cape.
Yeah.
So
Had everything.
basically what they did is they just used the existing cut that we already had in like the abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just took off the back legs, tubed them, and then they pulled it down over the ribs, then tubed the front legs, and then just pulled it down to about the middle of his neck,
Mm-hmm.
and then just sawed it off,
Yeah.
and had basically half of his neck and whole head. And from like his, because again, when I gut deer, I don't cut through his sternum. I basically just start below their sternum and just make that cut in the middle of their body there, and their abdomen down to their middle of their legs.
Yeah.
But there was no cut there. So that was kind of interesting to cape it out a little differently. What I was taught when I always do is a back cut right down the middle of the back, because obviously we're all looking up at a mount, and you're looking at his neck and everything. You don't want to cut right there. So, or even on a full body mount too, it's nice just to have a back cut because they can really hide that.
Yeah.
So basically just cut up. I didn't make the cut too terribly big. So you could make it big because that's how you would normally do it. But I was like, oh, we'll just make it kind of small.
Yeah.
And then we got to the ears and the horns, and then basically just caped out his neck, caped out his jaw,
Yeah.
pulled his jaw off, and then went down under his neck. And then we did what we did. So that was kind of fun. It was
Yeah.
neat for you to see that.
Yeah. And it was, I remember too, right when, we walked up to the deer when we found him, I just remember his cape just looking kind of unique, I thought.
Darker.
Yeah, he had like a dark, well, his face was kind of white, but then like his forehead was real dark, and like the tips of his fur like seemed like almost golden. And
Yeah.
and I don't know why, but I was like, because it had rained, so I'm like, I wonder if it just kind of looks a little different because it's wet. But looking at the cape, I feel like it's kind of a unique looking cape. I don't know why, but every time I see it, I'm like, man, it looks really cool. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what it looks like. So
Yeah, the one thing that I don't think will probably make it through by the time you get it back, just because when they tan it and they wash it and they dry them and all the process of the tanning process, is he had a whole clump of cockaburs.
yeah, big old clump.
Yeah, on the back of his head,
Yeah.
right behind his antlers, like not on his neck, on the back of his head, like basically right there.
Yeah.
It was this whole clump of cockaburs.
Yeah.
he could not find a way to scratch them.
Yeah.
And they just kept getting more and more. It was a big clump.
Yeah.
But obviously when we did that back cut, you kind of had to go like right through them.
Right through it.
And again, but that's the other thing. We found a gouge.
Yeah.
Like it was like somewhere like above his eye, like
Yeah.
on his right or left side, if I remember.
Yeah.
You could tell it was a gouge for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of cool. Looked like he'd been fighting.
No, yeah, for sure.
But so that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it's really interesting this part of the year on where we're at. We talked about that a lot about that this last week and it's interesting because you'd heard from a couple buddies, and people are like, "Oh man, the rut's over.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just all shutting down." And I think the disclaimer before we start on all this is that what we're describing is what we're seeing in northern Iowa.
Yeah.
It's a small data set. We're only sitting in one tree stand at a time.
Yeah.
Like you can only see so much.
Yeah.
And so, in Wisconsin, where your buddies and north of here,
Yeah.
it feels like what it felt like earlier is that it felt like everything was ahead of where we were at here.
Yeah. Definitely felt like everything was about a week ahead up there.
So maybe they are shutting down there.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, maybe they are. I would say that I don't feel like they're shut down here. I think
don't
we
so
are.
either.
I think we are in the peak of the lockdown. in what we've been seeing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, for example, and we're going to not really go in chronological order. We'll kind of jump around a little bit. So if it's confusing, I apologize. But November 14th, which would have been what day? Saturday?
17, 16.
Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, Friday morning. Friday morning, I watched, trying to skip out before work, I saw a buck breed a doe right in the middle of the field. I mean, 100%. She walked out, put her back legs down, peed, walked around. The buck was just all over her and mounted her and bred her right there in the field twice.
Yeah.
There was actually a really nice 10-pointer standing off to the side while this smaller buck was doing the deal. And in between when it happened, he went over and ran him off and came right back, completely bred her right in the middle of the field, like right in front of me. That morning I saw 12 different bucks.
Yeah.
Every buck was locked on a doe.
Yeah.
Locked on. Wherever she went, he went. They weren't like chasing them across the field, but wherever she walked, he walked. If she came out quick into the field, within a couple minutes, there he was out in the field.
Yeah.
When she went back in, then he went back in.
Right.
It definitely feels like, and even how the week played out when we got to get out, very slow.
Especially early in the week.
Yeah. Well, and then this last weekend, this is being recorded on Monday, November 17th. This weekend, slow.
Super slow.
Oh my goodness. It's like, do deer even exist? And that's where I think, you're hearing people go, oh man, the rut's over. I don't know. I don't know if the rut's over. Yeah. But I think they're definitely locked down. And again, I just saw a buck breeding a doe a couple days ago. Yeah. So, I had a conversation with a buddy and he made a comment. He's like, I've got a theory. And his theory was kind of what I don't agree with, but was the rut's over. Rut's over and the bucks are shutting down and everybody's tired of running. The does are tired of running. The bucks are tired of running and everybody's just laying down and trying to recoup. Maybe that's not what we're seeing where we're hunting. Yeah. And even with, and the example that I gave to him is Brutus is a perfect example. Man, this last week, now looking back, felt like the week to try to get him shot. You know what I mean? Because we saw him multiple times. Actually, kind of one of the coolest things that I'll probably never forget. On Friday night, I'm sitting on Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and I'm sitting against the river. I look back in the river, and it was warm. Friday was warm, really warm, right? And I'm looking back, and earlier in the evening, there was some kayakers, canoers that came floating by. Like I'm like waving at them, and they're waving at me. And so I'm just kind of, you're just trying to pay attention, look around. And I kind of glance back behind me, and I'm like, what? And I saw something. I'm like, that's weird. Well, about 100, 120 yards away, here's a doe just walking really slow right through the water. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. And I'm watching her. I'm thinking, okay, there's got to be a buck. Well, here, sure enough, there's Brutus walking right behind her. And it was funny to see the size difference. Her belly was definitely in the water. Yeah. His belly was barely touching the water. Yeah. They both walk slowly across the water, across the river. They get to the shoreline. She kind of stops, and she's, ankle, knee high in the water now. She's just kind of standing there, and Brutus is in the middle of the river just kind of waiting to see where she's going to go. I'm thinking, oh, please just walk this way. Please just turn left, go up on the shore and walk left. You walk right by me. I'll shoot Brutus and you can go on your merry way. I'm thinking, oh God, this is going to be it. This is going to be it. And then, of course, I'm thinking Nick's not here. Yeah. This is insane. This would be the best video ever, But she gets she gets kind of in the shallow water. She turns to the right, walks away from me. She had to have walked more than 100 yards just along the bank in ankle, knee-high water. And so he turns and he just kind of trudges through the water and just walks. She stops once. He kind of stops. He's kind of impatient. He kind of bumps her. She kind of trots a little ahead and splashes in the water and then stops. And then she just keeps walking, finally walks up on the bank. And later, right at dark, same thing, doe walks out. buck right behind her, not chasing her, just walking behind her. Wherever she was going to go, he was mirroring that.
Yeah.
Getting a little on the upwind, getting along the downwind, trying to kind of head her off whichever way he kind of thought she was going. Maybe she would get ahead 100 yards, but then he would kind of walk a little faster, catch up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If she stopped, he would stop. It was like there was this imaginary rope kind of connecting them,
Right.
AKA bucks locked down.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And so it feels like around here, we're still definitely in the middle of it. If the rut was a hill or a bell curve, we're not over on this side of the hill for sure.
Yeah.
We're definitely getting more, we're at the top or we're starting to come down the other side. We're not way down over here, I don't think, but we're not going up the hill either. We're at the top, just off the top, starting to come back down.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it definitely feels like deer are locked down. And you can see how it's just lulling.
Yeah.
You know, you're either in the right place or you're not. And we talked a lot about last week on the episode that my whole thing was you got to get out there. You got to get butts in the seats type thing. And I still really believe in that. I still really feel that way. It's like you just have to be out there.
Yeah.
Because even like look at on Sunday morning, we're sitting out there and it lulled. It was really, really lully on. Like, of course, I take Jet on Saturday. Don't see a deer Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, Saturday night, nothing. Go Sunday morning, same thing, really slow, perfect day.
Oh, so nice
28
out.
degrees, 7 mile an hour out in the northwest,
Oh, it's just
not a cloud in
perfect.
the sky. I'm like, sun's going to come up. This is going to be awesome. And we see one doe. She comes out, same thing. 2 minutes later, here walks out this little forky.
Yeah.
Starts to walk her. She starts to walk across the field. He starts to walk after her. But it just so happened to be where they were going to be.
Yeah.
And if you're where the deer are, all of a sudden you're right in the middle of them.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I mean? And like you said, I feel like the tactic that could really, really be working right now in this lockdown is if you can get into that thick cover, you know, or get into that thick cover or near those bedding areas, and maybe you kill something between 10 and 2 o'clock, you know, the
Yeah.
middle of the day. That's when, like I said, these all day sits, if you can get in those places, the problem is we don't really have that
Yeah.
on these spots. We don't have like that thick bedding areas.
No.
You know, we're in kind of more of the transition zone. So
Yeah.
this time of year, it can get tough
Get
sledding.
real tough. Yeah.
And so I feel like that's what we're up against. I don't think the rut's over. I think there's still good days in front of us.
Yeah.
I think between now and Thanksgiving, again, it's going to transition from the peak of the breeding into the post rut. And then all of a sudden it's going to then it really will just, the faucet will shut off.
Yeah.
But I still think we've got the November in the teens, kind of the zombie walking,
Yeah.
where all of a sudden you're just going to look out and you're going to go, oh my goodness, there he is. And he's just going to be coming,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and the good thing too is you know, right after we kind of get through the post rut, middle of post rut, tail end of post rut, they're going to be back on food pretty hard, and it seems like all the fields around us, they're getting plowed under, but not ours yet.
Yep.
And so it's like,
And I don't think he'll plow ours.
I don't think he will either.
he hasn't in years past.
Yeah, and so I know that we've both expressed our excitement for late season because I feel like we both think that late season could be pretty good down in that bottom. So
Yeah.
we got that to look forward to. So I mean, like you said, there's a lot of good days ahead of us. Not even just in November and up to Thanksgiving. We still have a lot to look forward to in the whole year in general. So
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the other thing that I definitely found myself doing over the weekend, and I feel like I'll be doing this week as well, is keep your calls close by.
mm-hmm.
This is the time when a grunt call, this is the time when a doe bleat
yeah,
can get super effective.
yeah,
Everybody's got their perspective on blind calling, you know what I mean? And we don't even need to get into that,
Yeah.
but I really think that, and I experienced this on Friday morning. Friday morning, there was a doe that walked out, and there was a little buck that walked out after her and just very casually just walked across the tongue.
mm-hmm.
I was down at the river, so I was north of them. And about 10 minutes later, here walks out another buck. Put my binos up. I'm like, man, that's a nice deer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a nice deer. I'm like, high, not super wide, high, nice 8-pointer. I'm like, man, or maybe a 9.
I think it's a 9.
Yeah. I'm like, man, and right away I'm like, is that No Name? Because he's a 9.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, it looks like he's too tall, and No Name's a little bit wider, but not as tall. And I'm like, looking at him. So I'm like, you know what? It was a little windy. I had a south wind, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it. Get up my grunt call, and I threw a couple good grunts at him, a little bit louder. Couldn't see any deer around me. So I'm like, and it's a big open cornfield. I'm like, I'm going to throw a couple grunts. Now there's a little bit of a contour between where he was and where I am. So that was my hope, is like, okay, maybe he's going to think something's down there in that bottom, like in the bottom by the river that he can't see.
Yeah.
So I throw some grunts. And I'm doing the old binos here, grunt call here, looking at him. I grunt. He turns and looks real hard. Kind of puts that back down. I give him another little grunt sequence, and he does the old completely change directions. And he's like, I'm going that way. And that's that awesome feeling. You're like, here we go, baby. Let's do this. And he marched 250, 300 yards all the way across that cornfield.
Yeah.
He got to the top where he should be able to see down in there. He stopped, looked. He's looking. Well, now I'm watching him. I'm trying to figure out which deer he is. Figured out he was Bentley, which is a buck that we had really only in velvet, right? Did we have him?
I think
hardhorn?
it was hardhorn, but it was early.
Yeah. It was velvet, and then it was hardhorn right after that.
Yeah.
And he's got these kind of bent brows. That's where we came up with Bentley. And so, sure enough, it's Bentley. I'm like, oh, baby, here we go. And I'm like thinking, I'm going to shoot you. So he stands there at the top of this little hill. He's looking, and he kind of turns to go across the fence. I grunt at him again. Now I'm grunting to the north, trying to kind of mix him up on the direction of where it's come from, or as if it was going away. He stops and turns back and looks, starts walking down the hill again. I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm like, just pot commit, dude. Walks another 50 yards, stops, looks. Oh, I should be able to see something. Crosses over to the fence, starts walking west, walking away from me. I grunt at him again, doe bleat, grunt at him again. He stops, turns, he comes back. I'm like, okay, that's it. This is it. And I'm thinking in my head, if you don't do it this time, I'm going to just leave you be.
Yeah.
Because he's thinking, right, I should be able to see what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of thick brush right there. So I'm trying to create a situation where he thinks, okay, maybe they're just in that thick brush. I can't see them. But he still probably is thinking I should still be able to see something moving through there.
Right.
So he comes back across the fence. Now he's at 80 to 100 yards, but to my right where I don't have a shot, I don't have a clear opening. And he stands there and stands there and stands there and stands there. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to call it anymore. That's enough. And it's like, either commit the rest of the way and come walking to the east and just come right by at like 20 to 40. I'm going to absolutely smoke you, or no. And he didn't like it, kind of just flips his tail once, turns around and just walks off.
Yeah.
But perfect example of that grunting really, really worked. I mean, it really, really worked.
Yeah, no doubt.
I feel like the grunting worked more than the bleeding, but he was definitely keying on that grunt.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
So it's definitely the time of year to have that grunt call handy, where you can kind of interact with them and try to communicate and just try to lure them in that little bit extra.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's cool that you've seen that deer. I mean, we had very little pictures of them, and they were all kind of crummy pictures. It was just kind of from the back. And well, last night he walked by, and that was the best look I got of him. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's a good deer.
Like, holy cow, that deer is way bigger than I thought. Sometimes I just feel like the cameras can kind of
be a bit deceiving.
it just might be just the wrong angle of them, and they don't look. I mean, you can tell it's a nice deer for sure, but I mean, you just got really good video of him last night. It's like, dang, that deer looks really good. He's tall. He's got big, long G2s.
Yeah.
Pretty good brows. He's pretty narrow and not the greatest mass, but man, he's a beautiful deer.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah, he's a nice deer for sure. Like I said, he's not a mega giant, but he's not a dink.
No.
But yeah, so it's interesting. And, like I said, and I feel like, again, coming back to what I kind of feel like the theme of this is where are we at in the rut? We are still in North Central Iowa. We are still smack dab in the middle of it, in my opinion. We're not completely out of it. I don't think that deer are just shutting down yet. I think that they're still locked on does pretty hard.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it's really, really cool how things have been playing out with this buck that we call Brutus. And he has been going through this kind of cycle. I think we've seen him do it now, 4 times?
Well,
because I saw him on the evening of the 14th. I saw him locked down on a doe. But the day before, We had him on how many cameras? We had him on the double on the tongue. We had him at the thermal hub, right?
That was way earlier in the week.
Okay. So that's what it was.
That was Sunday night.
So we had him cruising on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even before that, let's rewind. You shot that deer on Saturday. We had him cruising late the week before. Then on Saturday morning, we saw him absolutely dogging a doe. Like,
it was so cool.
So loud a grunting and almost didn't seem real. Like,
I mean,
it almost like he was playing the national anthem
just
with a grunt
mock
call.
Jesus across the field.
Oh my goodness. Grunting as he was running.
Yeah.
Like if we could speak deer, he was yelling, "Don't you run away from me. I'm going to catch you."
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, he was just full tilt.
Yeah. So we saw him on camera right before that. Then we see him locked down on a doe. Then right after that, a day or two later, because I was like, it'd be really interesting to see what 24 to 36 hours, what he does. Then he shows back up on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Then we see him locked down on a doe again from the double on the tongue off to the northwest.
Yep.
Then fast forward another 24 to 36 hours. I see him locked down. Then we get him on camera that like Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
Then I see him locked down on a doe again on Friday.
Yeah.
And now fast forward to Monday. On Sunday night, we get him on camera again cruising.
Yeah.
So he's kind of going through these ebbs and flows of lockdown on a doe. She gets done. What's he going to do? Find the next one. Let's go cruise. And he's got his little loop.
And it's just crazy, too, because, I mean, where we're getting him on camera right now, we had him all year.
He was not living there.
He was not there.
He was not living there.
Yeah.
He was living a mile to the south of there. 3/4 of a mile. That's a 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
From the thermal hub to the river. It's got to be at least.
Yeah, probably.
Well, it's 500 to 600 yards across that field.
Yeah.
And a mile is 1,700 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's got to be 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
So he was never on any of these cameras all summer. He was on one camera.
Yeah, he was on one camera, and it's just the far north side of the property.
Yep. And so here he is cruising way to the south of that, and he's doing his little loop.
Yeah.
And we get him on camera, then we see him locked down with a doe.
Yeah.
Then we get him on camera, and then we see him locked down with a doe.
Yeah.
So he's done that like 3 or 4 times that he's kind of doing this cycle.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, we saw him on camera, or we saw him locked down with that doe on the river, and then fast forward a day or two, now all of a sudden he's on the cruise again.
Yeah.
He's on the cruise during the night.
Yeah, all at night.
All at night. He's just doing his cruise at night. He's not cruising during the day.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, which you're not because you're a deer, but just do a cruise during the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
One cruise during the day. That's all I'm asking. One cruise.
Next Saturday morning around
Just
7:30.
one cruise. Just sometime. Just do a cruise during the day.
Yeah.
Let's just do a cruise during the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's doing a lot of cruising at night. But again, he's locked down on a doe, and he's out in the open. He's making himself visible / vulnerable.
Yeah.
And it was really hard on Friday night to watch him go across the river and then watch him walk off. And then I told you, I said, well, it's so fun and frustrating to get close to him like that. And then you have to walk away.
Yeah.
And then you just start back over again. You're
Yeah,
like, well,
exactly.
I got close, and now I'm going to go miles and miles and hours and days away from you. And I have to try to figure out a way to hone back in on you again.
Yeah.
But he's on camera again. He's cruising through. And so it'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be really, really good. And the nice thing too is I mean, there's a lot of nice bucks kind of doing the same thing. It feels like, I mean, it's kind of sporadic, but like, we just know, okay, yep, he's cruising again. And it's happening with a lot of different bucks still.
And Bentley as well.
Yeah,
we got Bentley on camera. So Nick sat on Saturday. I brought Jet with me, and Jet and I sat the double on the tongue where Nick shot Skinny Pete. And then we have this double in the woods that we call it. And there's a spot right there that we had set these tree stands we were calling it Lower Co-op, where last year there was a lot of deer working through there. We thought, oh man, this is it. Well, it's just funny how they just move a little bit. They just change things just a little bit. Well, we found this little crossing. We're calling it the Deer Bridge. And it's where there's this little ravine and there's a little creek that runs on through it. And there's this one spot I don't know if there's like
I think there's a culvert there.
Yeah, there's a culvert there in the woods that they put in at some point.
Yeah.
And it's just over the years enough dirt and leaves and sticks and everything, and it's created this nice little bridge.
Yeah.
That's 6 feet wide.
Yeah.
Whatever. But we put a camera on there, and guess what we're getting on camera now?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, there's a doe at 5 o'clock. Oh, hey, there's Bentley. Oh, hey, look there. There's, so we're getting deer going by there.
Yeah, working through there.
And they're just using that as kind of a way to get from the south to the north half and things like that.
Yeah.
But we get Bentley on camera again, cruising.
Yeah.
And so we actually got another new buck on camera, a new character unlocked. Buck that we're calling Zombie.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah. And that was on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, like 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, daytime.
That's a big stinking deer.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of cool on his right side. First, when you saw it, it looked like it was broke.
I thought he was broke at first glance,
Yeah.
but I zoomed in on it and got the video. I'm like, oh man, his right G3 it literally just goes up and does a 90. Just straight across.
Like it somehow got broke while it was growing.
Yeah.
And didn't break it enough to fall off, which that had to have been really painful. You think about that. You've got growing antlers. That had to hurt.
Yeah.
Somehow that broke.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a stinking nice buck. I mean, he is tall, big old body on him.
One picture.
Just lumbering around.
Yeah. Just looking around, looking for something.
Yeah.
Again, and you had made the comment in the text. You're like, well, let the zombie walking begin.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what it looked like. I mean, he's just slowly marching around. Yeah. And we both kind of talked about it too. Like, feels like that could be a deer that we just get on camera one time, maybe.
Just that's it.
He was just cruising.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I said, if you ask me where are we at in the rut, I don't think the rut's over.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what I really think's happening, I feel like in the deer that we've been seeing and like I said, when it's been lulling and everything else, what I think's happening and what I think you can really capitalize on when it comes to November in the teens is right after this, right? When the does really do get done and the bucks are still fired up and then they start cruising. That's when I think they're really, really vulnerable. Yeah. There's that little window here that's coming up.
Yeah.
But I think what's happening right now is we are still locked down. And I think the does are getting tired of getting run all over tarnation.
Yeah.
And I think the bucks are getting tired of chasing the next guy off and or having the next guy bump the doe that they're trying to hold down.
Yeah.
So what I think's happening is I think the does and the bucks are looking at each other and saying, you know what? The doe's saying, listen, I'm tired of running.
Yeah.
And the buck's going, you know what? I'm tired of running too.
Yeah.
And she says, okay, you know what? Let's make a deal. I'm going to go walk over this way on that little hillside or that little thicket or way up into this finger where we usually don't go, where nobody's going to bother us.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? I love that. Because then said next buck can't find us because if he comes in here, he's going to not respect what we have going on and he's going to bump you. And she's going to go, yeah. And then I have to start running again. And he goes, yeah, and I don't want to run. And she said, I don't want to run either. She's like, okay, perfect. Let's just go over here and let's just do this little thing that we're going to do, this little dance for these next couple days. And then we'll go our separate ways. And then you can be next said buck and go bump somebody else and try and negotiate this whole thing again. Mm-hmm. That's what I think's happening.
Yeah.
I think bucks and does are going, where do we go to be left alone?
Yeah.
And when they get left alone, the other buck and doe is doing the same thing. Hey, where do we go to get left alone? Hey, we found this little spot where nobody's bothering us. And the next one's going, where do we go? Nobody's bothering us. And guess the only bucks that we're seeing out right now, Forky Johnson, Spike McGee.
Yeah. Not knowing what's going on.
Dinkerinsky. Hey, what? It's the rut? What's going on? I got all these smells out here that I'm not used to smelling. What? And it's making me instinctively do this whole thing. Those are the bucks that we're seeing.
Yeah, and it's tough too because it's not really conducive to the place that we hunt. Because they're not just going to hang out and expect to not get bumped around in the middle of a cornfield. Like
Exactly.
We just don't have the bedding that we need to make the most out of this time, really. So we were just kind of banking on just catching a cruising buck at this point.
Exactly. We're banking on a cruising buck.
Yeah.
And so it's like when we're out there and we're not seeing much, I'm not losing sleep over it.
No,
I'm not getting super discouraged.
Yeah, you just have
it's just
a reality of it.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
like if we had like a bedding area, be like, okay, let's go get right up against that. And again, that's where I think you can if you have that, go do it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
But I also feel like we're getting to the point now where, again, that's what. Again, I want to go back to that. I really think that that's what's happening. I think the does are just getting tired to run. I think the bucks are getting tired to run around too, and the does are getting tired of the bucks chasing them. The bucks are getting tired of the next buck bumping the doe that he's been working so hard for, and so they're just going, how do I get away from everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, how I get away from everybody is I take her way over here, I take him way over here, and we both just lay down.
Yeah.
Or we stand up and lay down, and we move a little bit and sit up and lay down, and we just don't let anybody know we're here.
Yeah.
And I think that's what everybody's doing.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're locked down. And again, if those does are coming into estrus and then they come out of estrus, and that buck finally realizes, okay, well, this is this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Then all these bucks are going to start to do that, and then it's going to start to get real good again.
Yeah.
For a real short time, we're going to get bucks that are going to start cruising.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The other thing I think that's the thing to do right now is get ultra aggressive. It kind of feels like it's now or never.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
when you kind of like, oh well, I don't want to like pressure too much. We got all the rut ahead of us. We don't have the rut ahead of us anymore.
Yeah.
It's now or never. If there's a time to get ultra aggressive, like even like right now, like let's say you're in a position where you do have, man, I know right where the deer bedding area is. You know what? Go hunt it. Go get right on it and climb up in a tree stand or in your saddle or your climber and sit there all day
Yeah.
and be watching your clock and being on the prowl between 10 and 2. Because all of a sudden that doe and buck that's in there, they may stand up and she just maybe move around a little bit and he moves around a little bit and all of a sudden, boom, there he is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so that's the thing that I think getting ultra aggressive right now,
Yeah.
that's the other ticket that I think can really, really work.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, like you said, and even with that, like even right now with the aggressiveness, we've seen it too, where like the other day we had that really switchy, calm wind, you know, where it's just switching all over and you're moving your ozonics 100 times, you know, you're trying to,
Constantly, yeah.
you're just like checking it. And it was funny because Jet too, he's like, and I've explained that to him. He's like, Dad, I smell the ozone. Okay. And I'm checking, okay, the wind switch, and you're trying to adjust, you know. And it's interesting because we've had, like when you and I were out and we had that switchy wind, you get deer that walk out and the doe kind of gets a little like, oh, wait, she stops and she checks. And the buck, he doesn't give two diddlies.
No.
He's like, I am not thinking with that end. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like, let's go. I don't care what the wind says.
Yeah.
We're going this way. Bump, 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 and off they go. You know what I mean? Like, he's not thinking about that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like she's a bit more cautious. The bucks, that's the last thing they're thinking about. They're not thinking about survival.
Yeah.
They're thinking about another S word.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So we've got a little bit more time that we could take advantage of that, and then they turn into normal whitetails again.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So
Yeah.
I don't know, it's gonna be really, really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the time that we have left. Then again, I still have an unfilled buck tag, so
Yeah.
yeah, let's be the eternal. You got to be the eternal optimist.
Yeah.
But I think when we do this podcast a week from now, I think like, you know, then it's really kind of getting into that kind of Hail Mary time frame.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, guys,
Fourth quarter.
week of Thanksgiving. We obviously know the does are starting to wind down, and you know, it's just you got to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I feel like that's really like what we're in right now too, right? It's just kind of the luck of if you're where you need to be.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
No, for sure. Yeah, no, I've been on a major doe mission, and I'm even feeling it too a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, come
well,
on, you'd think a doe would walk by at some point.
well, and I commend you because, like you said, Sunday was a cold day, and like I said, I joked with you when we walked out. I said, "Well, you're a hardcore whitetail hunter now." I said because you know, it's one thing to go out and sit through the cold and put in the time when you got a buck tag in your pocket, but when all you have is doe tags and you're still grinding and being out there and like, let's get after it.
Yeah.
I said, I commend you for that because that sounds like a crazy thing that I would do.
Yeah. Yesterday
Go
was
out there with doe tags and just be
Yesterday-
getting after it.
Yesterday morning was a beautiful morning.
Oh,
It
man.
was Saturday night. I just ate the wind the entire time.
Oh, you did.
It was so windy. I could not believe it because I didn't think it was going to be that windy. But man, you got in there and it was just like, whoa!
Yeah.
It was howling.
Oh.
It was funny.
The other thing I was going to say that I wanted to talk to you about. Oh, I think there's a very, very slim chance that whoever these random people are listen to the podcast. So, and we don't even know who they are, but it's definitely the part of the whitetail rut where not only do I feel like sometimes the deer are coming out of the woodwork, bow hunters are coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Bow hunters are coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
Like the fair weather bow hunter.
Oh yeah, there was a lot.
We are the peak of that.
There was a lot of people out on Friday when it was 70 degrees.
Man, it was like if you're a golfer, guess where you were on Friday afternoon?
Golfing.
70 degrees weather.
Well, man, Walter, he was golfing.
There you go. If you're a golfer, you were golfing. And guess what? If you have a bow that you haven't dusted off all season and it says 70 degrees and it's November in the teens, guess what you were doing?
Yeah.
Hey, honey, going deer hunting this afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ran to Fleet Farm, got your deer tag, ran to Walmart, got your deer tag, and off you went.
Yeah.
And we saw that firsthand.
It was the first time we've seen anybody hunt this year.
Anybody.
Yeah.
So we're on a piece of private ground, and we've got private ground around us, which means there's neighbors, and that's just part of it. And I don't mean to, and I'm not, if I sound like I'm complaining, I'm not complaining. It's just part of it. So I get
Totally
it. Like,
part of it.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? But there we are, sitting. Like, we're sitting, okay? And it's Saturday afternoon. We've already been sitting, right? We're sitting. We're out there. Jet and I got everything all set up. You're all set up. We're sitting. We are hunting. We are ready to go. Let's go. Come on, deer, walk in. And I look off to the left, and it's 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
3:15?
Yeah.
I look over, I'm like, what? And here's a guy walking across this big cornfield on the next property over with a crossbow slung over his shoulder, no backpack, with what he has on and a crossbow, just marching across the field. 3 o'clock, 3:15, sunsets 4:40. You know, he's marching across the field, man. He's going deer hunting.
Yeah.
Yep. So he marches all the way across the field. So as I'm sitting there watching him, I'm like kind of watching him, see where he's going. And then as he's marching across the field, I look over. Here comes the farmer with his tractor.
Yeah.
Well, he's thinking the same thing. It's 70 degrees and sunny. I already watched my college football game through the day. I'm going to go out and I'm going to get some work in. So he's going to disc this field. So he comes in. Well, as he comes out of the field, I'm watching this all in my binos. So I see the tractor, John Deere tractor, come down the hill, and I look over, and you can see the crossbow guy turn around and see the tractor. You could just see like him just go like, oh crap. And he turns back around. He like slowly sulks his way over to the tree line.
Yeah.
So now the tractor's in the field. I'm watching. Well, now, oh hey, there's another guy. This guy's got the first guy beat. He had a compound bow, no backpack, nothing, bow in one hand, arrow in the other.
Yeah.
Like you could see him walking like this.
Yeah.
Arrow, compound bow.
Yeah.
No bow rope. From what I could tell, no quiver.
Yeah.
So then he gets to his single ladder, and I'm thinking, how are you going to do this? I'm like, man, I'm going to have to call 911 because you're going to probably fall and impale yourself.
Yeah.
So he must have like put the bow and the arrow in a way that didn't hit his string, and he's like climbing up with one hand, and he's shimming up there. He gets up there. And that was at 3:30, 3:45.
Yeah.
Well, the farmer sees these guys, and I think he's thinking, what are these guys doing?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, whatever, dude, I'm plowing this field.
Yeah.
So he plowed the field back and forth at a diagonal right in between them the whole day.
Yeah.
The whole afternoon. He was there when it got dark. He was still there.
Yep.
Those guys got off the couch, went and got their tag, I think. Hopefully the guy had a shoulder injury.
Mm-hmm. You
know what I mean? So he could be shooting a crossbow.
Yeah.
And they just went out there and watched that tractor.
Hey.
The whole time. So then the compound guy, he had enough. Mm-hmm. He got in about 3:45, and I saw him on the ground at 4:50. He'd had enough.
Yeah.
He sat out there for an hour.
Yeah.
He sat out there for an hour.
Hey.
The crossbow guy, he sat till about 5.
Yeah.
So, last light was what, 5:20, but he was out by about 5, and he was walking around. He's looking at the tractor going, okay, I'm flying the white flag, because the tractor was plowing towards him as the night went on. So I mean, no deer is going to walk out in the field as the tractor is plowing the field back and forth.
Right.
So it's just bad luck.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of funny.
Yeah. No, and you know what? More power to him.
Yeah.
No,
it's fine.
Better than sitting in the couch.
No, yeah. And like I said, I don't mean to be so critical. It was just like really funny.
Yeah.
And we saw them again on Sunday. Yep, they were back out there Sunday, and they were in the stands kind of late, and they were out by about 9. Yep. So, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, that can be helpful because maybe they move a couple deer around, or maybe when they're walking in or out, they bump something our way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
well, that's the thing with like what's coming up this weekend. It's Wisconsin gun opener, and again, there's a lot of gun hunters in Wisconsin, more so than bow hunters. So there's a lot more people in the woods than normal. And so I just remember when I was younger, Dad's like, we got to get out there really early. There's going to be deer running way early just because there's more people out there, and they might not be getting in as early. They're going to be coming in late. And so he's like, you just better be ready, What I want to talk about is it's just funny how, like, the season progresses and, like, you get into the rut and, we're pushing pretty hard. And, like, just everything gets just a little bit harder. Because first thing is, filming the other day, I go to tighten the screw on my camera arm. Screw's gone. I don't know. It just must have just wiggled out or something.
It's like the screw that keeps everything firm and tight.
Yeah, the pan. It's just the pan.
It's like a locking screw.
Yeah, you just tighten it up and it just holds it right there. Gone. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. Have to give B&H a call, see if they know what part it is or the thread count or something.
On the tripod head.
So that happened. And then we get to the truck, and the screw that goes through my bike and into the deer cart, the little nut on the bottom was gone.
That locks it together and makes sure it doesn't just pop right out.
Just pop right out. And Cole's like, yeah, I noticed this the other day. He's like,
I noticed it that morning.
Yeah, he's like,
I get all my stuff and getting Jet already, and I looked over and I'm like, well, that's weird. Where's the other part of that? And it was just the bolt was just sitting there in the bed of the truck. I'm like, uh-oh, that's gone.
So it's like, okay, that is
awesome.
Not good either. And then, and then yesterday morning, the river's kind of a long hike, so I always take the bike down there. I get on the bike and I'm rolling, and all of a sudden it flashes a code. Error 08. I'm like,
you're like,
okay.
Really?
Cool. And so I figured it out. I mean, I put it to I was in all-wheel drive, put it to just rear wheel, still flashing arrow, put it to front wheel, took it away. I'm like, okay, so it's something wrong with the back end.
Yeah.
Well, everything got unplugged somehow.
Well, probably just like we were talking about, it probably like you're going through these cut corn stalks. It probably just got caught right on a corn stalk and just boom, it just came unplugged.
Yep. And so that happens. And then we were walking back, and
I was walking back. You were riding back.
Well, but I came over and met you.
Yeah,
and I was just
we had a camera where everybody's had this happen where the antenna goes down in front, and then all of a sudden it's like it's flashing on the antenna, and everything else is blown out. You can't see nothing. So it was driving me crazy. I'm like, we got to move that antenna. So I was like, let's just do that when we get done.
Yeah.
So I went over there and moved it back.
And so I went, and Cole was just kind of standing by his tree stand. So I rode up to him, and we're sitting there just kind of talking. And all of a sudden I look at my sight, and I'm like, my sight light, and everything is gone off the top of my sight.
Gone. So there's a little set screw, and it's a Allen or whatever it is, like I don't know what type of screw it is, but it's just a little screw.
Yeah.
You use like a Allen wrench to tighten it down, and it must have just came loose just enough. And vibrating on the bike or whatever, off it went.
Yeah, so I got all my, so that little piece had the sight light on it, and then it was also the cover for like the sight fibers or whatever, the light.
Fiber optic.
Yeah, the fiber optic. So now I just have fiber optic just kind of just laying.
Shining.
Just
your pin is really bright.
Yeah. So it was just like all mangled together. I'm like, oh. Tell me it's the rut without telling me it's the rut, I guess.
Well, yeah, I know. That's exactly how it is.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, and maybe this is a stretch when it comes to the correlation, but I saw a thing on my phone. It was a guy doing a podcast, and he was interviewing like a guy that must have been a Navy SEAL or something. And he said he was talking about how when he first went to like the BUDS training, right, which is like this Navy SEAL training, he said he gets there and there's all these people. There's like 220 people there ready to do this training. And he goes, you know, you're looking around, and he said you could tell there was like a UFC fighter, and there's like lacrosse players, and you could see guys that look like they were like college football players, and everybody's just like super jacked and just, you know, really, really ready to go. And he's like, man, am I in the right place? Like, oh, geez. And he said, you know, they go through this weeks and weeks of training. And he talked about that as the training started. It's just this incredibly grueling training. And it goes on and on and on. And as the training goes, you start to weed down the people. And he's talked about how you very quickly figure out what your why is. Why are you here? And if your why isn't ironclad, and if it isn't rooted in really wanting to serve in that way, if you're just doing that to try to take advantage of the name or the status because you're looking to, you know, tell your friends or impress your family or get a girlfriend or whatever that might be, you know, you just want to have the title of Navy SEAL. You don't want to actually do the job of the Navy SEAL. You don't really want to serve your country. You know, you're just kind of doing it for what that status and what it gives to you in that regard. The idea of it, he goes, they will expose you right now. And he goes, and on top of that, he goes, they've got a bell right there the whole time. Oh, you want to quit? You tired? Here, ring the bell. It's that easy. You don't have to be wet and cold, laying in the sand and the wet and the ocean and salt and sleep deprived and haven't eaten in 4 days. Like, that's all fine. Just ring the bell. It's that easy. Like, you can get out of it that easily, right? Like, you can be just fine. And he goes, and all of a sudden, it went from 220 people to like a couple dozen. He said they would cross this road to go to eat like chow, he called it, or lunch or whatever, and they would run there. And they would cross this road, and at first there was 220 of them. It was this big parade of people running across. And he goes, within a month, he goes, it was like 19 people. You know?
Yeah.
And it was, when I heard that, I was like, and maybe this is a stretch, but I'm like, well, I know that there's times that hunting starts to feel like that, right? All of a sudden, you're sitting in your tree stand, and you've been sitting all day, and you're wet, and you're cold, and your feet are frozen, and you're going, what am I doing? All of a sudden, you're on the side of a mountain, and you're cold and tired, lost, a little scared, you know, hungry, and you're going, why am I here? What am I doing?
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like that's the part that we're getting into now is for the guys that haven't filled for the men and women that haven't filled their tag, they're going, okay, why am I doing this? You know? And if you don't really, if it's not rooted in something real and you're just doing it for the idea or the status or I want to get the picture with the big buck, you're probably not going, right? It weeds you out pretty quick.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the part of the season that we're getting into. And like you said, not only that, then things start to go wrong, right? Like all of a sudden like the screw comes out and your fiber optic sight is not the way it needs to be. And you're like, I want to try to go hunting tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden your bike's not working and like your truck needs an oil change and you get a flat tire and like, you know, you bump the buck that you've been waiting on all year, or he wins you or he smells you or spots you or whatever, and all of a sudden everything starts to come unraveled. And the why you're doing it becomes real evident.
Yeah.
And I just really related to that. I'm like, yeah, man, and like I've talked to this before, like when I go to Alaska, the hunters that I hunt with, that's the first thing I ask them is, why are you doing this? Why are you doing it? Like, what's your why? Let's just make sure that we're clear on what that's rooted in. Because if it's rooted in something that's not real and is kind of if your compass is pointing in the wrong direction, when it gets really hard, you're going to want to quit.
Yeah.
And we just need to make sure that we're clear about that. You know what I mean? Or what that means, you know? And so it's funny because, like, I saw you sitting across the way in that tree stand on Sunday, and I'm like, yep, Nix knows his why because he's out here, and I knew everything wasn't going perfect, and you don't even have a buck tag, and you're sitting, you're going, you know what? I want to shoot some deer, you know, and so, yeah, like you said, I've got a buddy that's hunting real hard right now. He's had a pretty rough season, you know, but guess what? He's still out there. Because, you know, he knows what he's trying to do. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so, and like you said, that reason could be different for everybody. Maybe it is that big mature buck. Maybe it's you just really want to shoot a buck. Maybe you just want deer meat.
Yeah, meat,
you know what I mean?
freezer.
Yep. But if it's more rooted in just like the status and all that other stuff and the idea of it, like, you know, when it was raining a couple weeks ago on a Saturday, you're probably not thinking about going out and sitting all day.
Right.
When it's been lulling for 5 or 6 or 7 days and you've gone out 3 or 4 times and haven't seen a deer, guess what? You're like, well, hanging it up. I'm tired of deer season. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I'm done. The rut's over. You kind of start to, all of a sudden, we talk about built-in excuses. All of a sudden you rationalize why you don't want to go. You go up and you ring the bell.
Yeah.
You know? And so I feel like we're getting to the point right now where you got to push through.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to push through.
No doubt.
Keep getting out there. No built-in excuses. There's still good hunting in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
That's my motivational speech for the day.
Go get them, boys and girls. It's awesome.
Oh. So, yeah, no, it's I'm excited to see what the rest of the season brings.
Yeah, me too. Be good.
Yep. And, hey, you've got an exciting week. Like you said, you've got Wisconsin gun opener.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. I haven't been home for a gun opener since 2021.
Yep.
So I'm very excited for that. That's going to be
are you going to get a tag, or are you just gonna hang out?
Hang out. Maybe just go sit with. Honestly, I think I might go sit with my dad and maybe bring the camera and film my dad, but he's all weird about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like,
is Benny gonna go? You should go with Benny.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go. I think I'm literally just gonna play. I'm just gonna hop from blind to blind. I think.
Well, you know what I do? I think you should say what you go sit with Zippy. That's who you gotta sit with.
Yeah, I'll go sit with Zip.
Go
maybe.
sit with Zip.
Yeah.
We need to get a little Zip footage.
Yeah,
A
well,
little new character unlocked.
yeah. So I'm just gonna go hang out, and it's a fun time. Gun season in Wisconsin, it's a lot of fun. It kind of feels like more of a party sometimes, but it's really fun. I mean, you go hunting, and then everybody comes over. We grill out, and hopefully tell some good deer stories from the day. Cut up some deer, maybe. It's a ton of fun. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to be there. It worked out really, really well this year. I mean, normally I try and just still hunt this weekend.
Yep.
Because I know that I'm going to be home for Thanksgiving, so it's like I'll just have my Wisconsin deer camp over Thanksgiving. But just with how my PTO laid out and, you know, shooting Skinny Pete, it just kind of opened up this weekend a little bit. So it's going to be really fun. I'm super excited to be home for it. So
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it'll be really interesting to see how that all plays out.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm excited. We just had a really nice buck show up at the place that my dad's going to be hunting. So maybe you can catch up with him. It'd be really cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, and I feel like we still see some deer hitting the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there's definitely some deer hitting the ground.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So no, it's yeah, like you said, and Minnesota, their gun season's been in, right?
Yep. For
2 weeks.
2 weeks. No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Wisconsin comes in. We get past Thanksgiving, and then Iowa comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Get the Iowa shotgun season.
Then late Moz, boy.
Yeah, then we get into late muzz. And like I said, I will be shooting the bow during late muzz. I got doe tags to fill yet.
Yeah.
But no, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the other thing we've been hearing a lot of is you hear a lot of pheasant and waterfowl hunters out there
Banging away.
banging away.
Yep.
Yep, hear a lot of that right now. There's been a lot of that.
Yeah. For
Which
sure.
and again, like I said, you have a real nice weekend. That made total sense.
For sure.
And
No
there's
doubt.
a lot of the ducks are still flying. A lot of geese are flying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Well, not probably ducks as much, but a lot of geese flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of geese flying.
No doubt.
But yeah, it's getting to be. And like you said, we were talking about that on the drive. You know, that's the one thing about waterfowl hunters, and I feel like that's related to gun hunters as well, is there's a social aspect that sometimes I think there can be a social aspect to bow hunting too. Like we've kind of found the common ground in that. But, you know, like a lot of times when you're sitting in a tree stand, you're sitting there by yourself. You know, if you're in a duck blind, you're with your buddies. You know, you're with your friends. If you're gun hunting, maybe you're doing a drive. You're walking to your buddies. You're kind of rallying together after a drive, going to the next place. There's a social aspect, a camaraderie with gun hunting and waterfowl hunting that I sometimes feel like with bow hunting isn't there as much.
Right.
Bow hunting can be kind of a lonely deal.
Yeah.
You know, or just a, by yourself type deal. You know, and so, yeah, I feel like, again, we heard a lot of banging over the weekend, and a lot of guys are like, hey, man, good weekend to get out. Let's go. Yep. And it was a really great weekend to get out.
Perfect for it.
Yeah, just perfect.
So.
But what else we want to talk about? What do you think?
I think we wrap it.
Think we wrap it?
Yeah, 1 hour.
1 hour? Okay.
Be perfect.
All right. All right. Well, I think we end it right there. Listen, big week ahead. We're at the top of the hill. We're coming down the other side. We're going to get into this post rut, and things can still get good. So if you still got that buck tag, get out there, hunt hard.
Oh, yeah, boy.
Be careful, be safe. Another Ozonics Killerwinds podcast episode in the book. The Nuke. Me. Stay classy.
See ya next week. Be safe.
Stay classy.